All right, guys. Well, welcome back. It is Lightning in a Bottle. What are we on now? Episode 4. So welcome back. Definitely probably going to feel a little different energy because the news is all good on our end of town. We are open back up, and we have been for a good, what is it now, 2 weeks? 2 and a little bit, 2 weeks and a day. Yeah. So 2 weeks of opening, great attendance, momentum's picking back up. Awesome to see you guys. So we wanted to come back on, provide another little peek inside of the brains of your, 4 guys in the 2 different gyms. And we're just going to kind of do it like we did our very first one, where we're shooting from the hip and pulling some topics out that we've reviewed. We have a couple questions that have come in, and we'll just kind of riff off of that. So welcome. Thanks for joining again. Make sure you are continuing to shoot any comments or any questions our way as you do view this, as we hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll keep building on these. So with no further ado, once more, let's go ahead and get going.
I want to start by commenting on Justin's beard and how beautiful it really is.
Look at that.
It's like a combination of Musketeer and Wild West. And there's no better marrying of 2 worlds.
Yeah.
I'm going for the Bald Butcher on Gangs of New York.
The only thing is the only problem with it is it kind of masks the beauty of the mustache. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as thick as I like it.
You can't see it as good because the shadow.
Do you think that, have you ever considered frosting your tips?
Because I lost my hair when I was like 17.
He never got a chance to do that.
Dude, how much money are you spending on products right now just to get that?
Mustache wax is cheap, man.
About as much as I am on this mess.
Jesus, Taryn.
This is
My God. Did you expect that to come out from underneath that hat?
It's like Jimmy Neutron, no, what's the guy's name? The cartoon that used to do like what was his name?
Shawn Michaels?
No, anyways.
Shawn Michaels, thank you, Jay.
What was it? Jimmy Neutron.
Dragon Ball Z?
Dragon Ball Z, Goku.
The guy was
Goku all
really
day.
jacked too, and he had a blonde hair that just set up on top of his head.
Oh, Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo. That's
Yeah.
Oh,
on top of my head. I just need
yeah,
to
okay, I remember that.
glasses and to hit little poses.
That's him, right?
Yeah, so, hey, would you guys want to open up and kind of explain how things have been moving, how the energy is, like excitement levels and things on your end of town there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess first and foremost, we're happy that everybody's back in the gym, and secondly, the numbers are. We've had some smaller classes that have just exploded. As far as like 6 a.m. and 7:15, it's grown quite a bit. 8:15 is maybe slightly under, but not much. I think it's right at near capacity.
Big class today, 16.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's been really exciting to see the numbers be a little different than what we might have expected coming back to this. And then noon's been pretty big too. Some of our afternoons have been 4:30 has been pretty big, and then 5:30 has been a little lower in attendance just because we've got some people that are out for different reasons. But other than that, I think we're having more participation than we did maybe before.
All things considered, attendance has exceeded my expectation on the way back from this. We're kind of receding, the tide's receding, and everyone seems to be settling back in comfortably. It was a bit of a transition for everyone to use these squares and maybe see cones and stuff. And we have walkways and sanitization habits that maybe weren't as refined as they are now. But like Steve says, it's exciting and it's fun again.
Sure. And then I want to comment on the programming has been superb given the situation.
Yeah.
He don't want the brag. I'm giving it to him. Though.
Hey, I'm telling you, I'll continue to call it our hive mind. Like your brain and my brain and those 2 brains and other brains, we're like a hive of bees. We're all sharing a message and developing a picture that makes a little more sense. It's certainly not me on my own.
I think we're the murder hornets. I believe that's who we are.
Yeah,
we're the killer bees.
That's right.
So yeah, how about on your end?
Yeah, the feedback's been nothing but thumbs up here from a programming standpoint as well. Find some people that realized how quick endurance and capacity can fade and how quick soreness can set back in. And I think we all speak for us and probably our whole group.
I speak for my 2 collarbones.
Yeah, the old clavicles are a little beat up too. So attendance wise, same for you guys, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I got red thumbs from DT that day from hook gripping so much. But yeah, attendance has been great. It's been great.
Kind of shifted more towards morning as well.
It's weird. It's weird. Our slowest classes before COVID 2020 was now our, I think, one of our biggest classes. All of our, like our 7 a.m., our noon, and our 5:30 is still normal. It's pretty normal, but 7 and noon is just completely blown up for us, which was the slowest before, which is good.
Good energy though. A lot of excitement. One of the trickiest things for me, anyways, has been to try to some degree to keep people, at arm's reach at least, or a little bit away from each other. People are so excited to see each other and to be back in the gym that the door kind of congests and crams up, and a little hanging out after some of the classes. So it's been a little tough. So bear with us as we continue to try to
stop it
to the demands and the needs of Tennessee and the country as we continue to taper back towards normal. But no, it's been great. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, and we've seen some organic growth. So surprisingly, we've had some new people join ranks here. I know you guys have had some growth and on multiple fronts. So it's exciting to see new faces and new energy with renewed energy. And in fact, this probably transitions perfectly into a member question that I received yesterday from Melissa Lawson, Hat Tip Melissa, in that her biggest challenge when sharing about what the gym represents to her or bringing people in sometimes is people's perception of the price. And she asked us to elaborate on how we differentiate, and if we differentiate, and how we would describe what we offer versus what another gym would offer. Anybody want to field that one?
That's a great question. I'll go first if you want. It doesn't matter to me.
Sure.
Hit it.
All right. The way that I always feel that question is, I think of it like you can spend a little bit of money now and be healthy, or I've heard this before actually from someone else, or you can spend the money in hospital bills later. That was a very morbid way of going about it, but to me, it is kind of true. It's what are you willing to spend on your health and be healthy for the long run? And to me, you can go to other places and you can spend a little bit, but you won't have the same accountability. You won't have the same friendships, relationships, whatever you want to call it. You'll more than likely quit. And those are just some of the things that I've seen. And to be honest, like, this might sound a little arrogant, but if your service is good enough, then I think it can warrant the price. Does that make sense? So, when you go to buy a good car, you don't, like, for instance, somebody said, why doesn't Rolls-Royce have a sale? Rolls-Royce will never have a sale because of their quality. They don't have to have a sale. Does that make sense? Not comparing us to Rolls-Royce, but to me, if your service is good enough, then that should justify the price.
Yeah, and just speaking of price, like it allows us to invest in us. So as far as us four right here and our coaches, it allows us to provide ourselves with salary, and Taryn with a salary, and Steve and Galen, to where we can continue our education and we continue to bring that stuff back to the gym and continue to hopefully better the experience for you all. That's why we're 10 Experience. So that's what we're trying to display. We're not going to have a manager and an owner in Bristol, and then we're going to have part-time coaches who swap out for memberships and do 95% of the classes. We like being in the gym. We like providing for you all, and we just want to continue to grow what we have and not push it off on someone else.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Pay for quality leaders and instructors, but also too, and we hope you feel this, but that money hopefully gets spun right back into you from a quality of facility standpoint. A couple examples: the new Echo bikes, updated slam balls, the flooring and lighting in Bristol. It's hopefully another peek inside of where our mind is, and not that we're pulling all this money and tucking it into a pocket and running away with it, but instead investing it back to provide the best possible service from a facility standpoint too. So definitely those two are good ones that run into it as well.
Yeah, and I don't need to add much to it, but I like to think in models, and the model that I always like to use is you can compare commodities. So you can compare a widget to a widget. You can compare gasoline from Shell to gasoline from Chevron. But sadly, sometimes people have this perception that gyms deal in commodities and that all commodities are the same. And if this commodity costs if I'm paying $1.99 a gallon for gasoline here, I can drive an hour south and pay $1.99 for gasoline there and expect the same sort of thing. We pride ourselves on big differentiation between a classic pay by the month, here's your gym, you do what you want system, and a classic one-on-one, let's pay a super premium for a private training type session. We try to marry those two in what we feel like is honestly undervalued, in my opinion. Well, and maybe I'm biased, I likely am. To deliver what Justin says is a service, not a good. And that service is the experience, the relationship, and guess what? Fitness, health, longevity, relationships, and on and on and on.
Yeah, and to add on to that, you basically said what I'm about to say. I was just going to also iterate the relationship aspect of coach to athlete, whatever you want to call them, where you can get a hold of us outside of the gym. You can call us, like, we get calls and texts and messages all the time. And so I don't think you get that with a standard gym. You probably don't even get a lot of contact when you're physically in person, much less outside of the gym. So,
yeah, guys, and if you would, Galen loves text about 2 a.m. in the morning, multiple.
Thank you.
You'll find that thing.
Watches on silent, phones on silent.
I was going to say, you'll find that
brains
thing
on loud.
It'll be on airplane mode.
Yeah, do not disturb.
Yeah.
DND.
And we hope too, from people that already have bought into us, that we provide that feeling, and that we feel like that quality is there that we're providing. That was mainly to answer the question, if I understood correctly, for how to speak to somebody that you are trying to motivate to come in. So we truly believe, at least we hope with everything inside of us, that our members feel that their money that is not cheap is of good value every single month, because that's our ultimate goal, to provide more than what you're going to experience. Take the thinking out of it, provide the personal touch, get the coaching, but still do it in the middle ground between, as Galen said, the really expensive individual training that'll break the bank per hour versus the $30 do your own thing. So it's that beautiful middle ground, and that's our hope anyways.
Sure. And I mean, plus what's your health worth? It's $155 a month. I mean, in the scheme of things, like I mentioned a minute ago, in the longevity of your life, given that's hopefully a long life, that's nothing to me personally. So
yeah, and hopefully a lot of that comes down to the desire to really want the best for yourself. And in the case of that, you find people that oftentimes make sacrifices and make this a staple of their lives, that you can make it. It seems like people find a way to make it work if it really becomes our priority to keep themselves healthy and to be in this community and to build. So it's just getting people to realize that it is manageable. It obviously might take some budgeting or some adjustments, but if it's high on the priority list, it's definitely doable and achievable. So
It's all about the priority. If you don't prioritize health and longevity, probably not the right place for you, honestly. And if you want, if you think we're too expensive or you think that it's not for you, shop around. If you want to try another gym, try it out. If it fits you, it fits you. It's not, anyone can do it. It's not for everyone.
Yeah, I like to use that adage too. CrossFit works for everyone, but it's not for everyone. You guys have all kind of mentioned this idea of investment, and there's 100 books on returns on investment. And once upon a time, when we changed our name for the third time, we called ourselves 10 Experience. But if you think about the first two syllables, 10X, that's what we want. We want your health and your fitness and your wellness and your relationships to be an investment. We want the return to be a 10X return. That was the idea behind the original name, through the experience and through what we can all glean from sharpening each other's iron, because we are ultimately working on improving ourselves and those around us, whether we're conscious of it or not, I think.
Would it be fair to put ourselves or you guys or whoever would like to dive in and answer this on the spot for a 30-second answer for someone to provide to somebody that's on the fence about trying things out? Is it hard? I know we just all gave different ideas, and maybe that's a long-winded thing that no one is going to be able to plant in their head and remember to say to someone. Can we wrap that up in a quick 30-second spiel, if anybody would be interested in ever providing that to a friend or family member?
Personal training in a group setting that's fun and community-based, maybe something like that.
Probably a pretty good one. What if we had to dumb it down even more? What if someone doesn't even know what personal training would entail or how much personal training would be?
Healthy lifestyle.
I put you on the spot pretty hard. Sorry.
Dang.
I'm gonna
Come on, Stevie, hit me.
big question to Terry. Right?
Yeah, for the cost of a single Starbucks every day, you can have a fitness that you've never experienced before, along with relationships that you never anticipated.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you break
I
it
think
down day to day.
I think a big selling point is also saying you don't have to worry about coming up with anything. We do everything for you but the workout.
Right.
You got to do that, but that's it.
Show up with gym shoes and gym clothes on and get the best hour of your day, hopefully, and one that yields good fitness results and better health and longevity.
To be extra slippery, because I love to sound like a salesman, this might not age very well, but we are in the midst of a membership drive promotion wherein if you're interested and you know someone who is already a member, you can both earn money. And it's really just kind of catchy. Get fit, get paid. So if you're interested, there's a way you can literally be paid to be healthy. We'll subsidize your health in the most positive ways.
And some people might not know what in the world you're talking about. So what does that entail?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Man, I'm gonna lateral that one to Justin.
You talking about the 100 challenge, right? So 100 challenge. So if let's say Taryn gets Donald Trump to sign up, Donald Trump comes and signs up.
Says this place is excellent. It's great. It's the best place
Ever. China.
Best gym ever.
My skin's orange. Why am I not being healthy? I have lots of vitamin D. But so Terry gets somebody to sign up, one of his friends, family members, or whatever. They come in, they sign up, they stay for 3 full months and pay 3 full monthly membership payments. At the end of that 3 months, we'll give them each $100 a piece, just to kind of incentivize them to bring some people in and just kind of gift that gift of fitness to someone else and let them see what they've been missing out as far as feeling good and living that fulfilled life, which we always talk about.
That's it.
Perfect.
No, we didn't. I like that.
Yeah, that was nice. We'll link up there. Awesome. Well, hopefully that answers that question. Melissa, thank you very much for bringing that up. It is a tough subject to wade through. Sometimes people are starstruck by that number that you shoot at them when they ask a lot of times. So maybe that gives you a little bit of ammo to further explain. So awesome.
Hey, one thing I would add to that, Taryn, like you have some people that are like, I'm not in shape enough to come in there yet. What do I need to do? I get those all the time. I'm sure you guys do too. It's like, trust me, bro. You'll never be in shape to come in here and do this.
But even in those that are in the best shape, find quickly that it's a little different. And also too, and maybe this is a little bit of a spin, but for those that might not know, great place to start. It's not intended to be a start and then transition, but here in Bristol, as of now, we offer that 10-fit group with a lot of people find a nice seamless transition from little to no fitness to the beginning stages. Even though it's not intended to be that, it's certainly something that can be left and you can stay there for as long as you would like, because it's going to be a permanently ran class, but it is a great way to ease a little more so into what we do, the 10-fit offering. So.
Yeah, and I think most people who join the gym, they kind of have more of a cardio base than mostly anything else. So I think that's why maybe CrossFit kind of intimidates them a little bit. So when they start in with 10-fit, it's a little bit more cardio based, a little bit more familiar from what they're used to doing. Hey, I'm going to come in here. I hate to call it a boot camp class because it's so much more, but that's something they can kind of link on and connect the dots of where they're getting to start at. Still have a little bit of strength training in there, but it's mostly a little bit of conditioning for the 10-fit and CrossFit. Have everything, kitchen sink.
But I will say, whenever that class starts, whenever you kick it off, you guys go. It is nonstop. Like that time we went up there to check it out because we're maybe.
Spoiler alert.
Maybe.
I didn't want to hit it. Sorry.
Oh, it's good. Perfect.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, so we were thinking about possibly implementing that here at some point. So we went up there and spied a little bit on the guys in Bristol. And that class is nonstop. It's like, hey, how are you doing? Let's go. Right now.
And so Shanna and Catherine and Brittany and Robin, they all do that class. Absolutely wonderful job. Very welcoming. It's like going to a family dinner or something like that you don't talk about politics. So everybody gets along. And it's just a great thing.
Forewarning, occasional dance party in there during rest periods on the minute style workouts. No, it is true. Like, you guys are right. It's a 3-2-1 go kind of class, but it's also within reach. And everyone talks about it. It's the buzz topic when people go to the theme of CrossFit or what we offer. But community is a huge thing. And you talk about an incredible group of ladies. We have a messenger on Facebook for those in Morristown that might not know, just specifically for that 10 Fit class. And that thing's buzzing always with some of the most supportive content and talk. Like, you get a group of people together that have each other's back that much, and there's oftentimes success that follows. So we added 3 last night. So the momentum's beautiful in that class, and we really like where it's going. Shannon does a great job. Catherine, Kelly, Robin, Britt, all of them. It's good. It's good. I'm excited for you guys to get going too. You'll build the exact same thing, I'm sure. Yeah, I didn't know if we were going there quite yet, so I hesitated.
Sorry.
Steve just said, forget it.
And what that separates that class from our class, guys, is the intimidation factor of the barbell. So in that class, we don't have the barbell. We have torpedoes, which you can use like a barbell. So it's a little bit more shoulder friendly, a little bit safer starting people off who have a little more experience compared to bringing someone in, hey, you're going to do a squat snatch today, which we're not going to do that in a regular class, just, because we coach.
Yeah, sure. I don't have anything to build on that. I'm excited. I'm excited for when we can just pencil in the logistics and the blueprints for how we make that happen here. And it's not far. Honestly, we had it in the docket on the books for April. And then, of course, we were struck by this wave of COVID and immunology issues. So it's still in the docket. We just started trying to whittle away at the best approach for it right now. We'll have the same thing. We still have our 10 next round, or our 10, what is it called? Foundation class. Wow. 3 times a week, and it might just plug and play in that time slot for us. But we'll see. We'll let you guys know as soon as we know.
Excellent. Well, I think we also put a couple questions together, not a ton of rapid fire. We don't want this one to be overly lengthy for you guys today. We just wanted to at least touch base and get back in front of the camera. So if you guys want to shoot any of those, either rapid fire or questions that you might have, if you want to elaborate on anything, we can go ahead and go down that route. So whoever wants to dive in there.
Yeah, I'll start. I was thinking just anything that has you excited or coming up in the future that you're excited to read, watch, do, new hobby, anything like that. So it's super broad. And reason why I asked, I was listening to a Healthy Rebellion podcast yesterday, Rob Wolf and his wife, Nikki Valetti. And Rob has a new book coming out called Sacred Cow. Talks about sustainable farming and basically getting away from industrial farming, and sounds amazing. I'm excited for that. If he's asking that people pre-order, I haven't done it yet, but he's asking people to pre-order because of COVID going on. They're having problems with the publisher saying, hey, we're not going to print that many just in case, but he thinks there's going to be a lot more demand and you're not going to be able to get the book unless you do a Kindle or something like that. So I'm excited about that. Just anything Rob Wolf writes. G talked about this in one of our other podcasts. He's one of our 4 horsemen that we look up to, and anything he writes, I'm excited to see. And he done a lot of sustainable research. We actually met him at Polyface Farms with Joel Salatin. He had a little speech up there. If you've never looked that up, Joel Salatin is basically I would say the father of, what's he called? Beyond Organic, G, is that what he calls it? Yeah, Beyond Organic. So it's not organic farming. There's a lot of loopholes you can get with organic foods and meats and vegetables and stuff like that, to where it's sometimes checked, it's sometimes not. It's got to be a certain percentage and so forth. But Joel Salatin is a farmer, extremely smart, and he goes beyond organic, and you can take tours of his farm about any time, which is really amazing. Like, you could literally just pull back the grass and look at the freaking dirt, and there'll be like worms crawling through. Like, it's amazing what he does with his land he has. So Rob Wolf did a lot of research on that, and talking about always long-term health and fitness and sleep patterns and so forth. So I'm just really excited about that.
That was a good one. That sounds like something worth being excited about. Guys over there?
I agree. I was reading a post about that Sacred Cow, and Diana Rogers was a co-author with Rob Wolf, I think. Yes. Is that her? But I think highly of both of them. Can't wait to read that book. Plus, Rob's writing style is just really good. He may be a biochemist and a fitness guy and a jiu-jitsu person and a podcaster, but he is a writer at heart, in my opinion. What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to some form of a travel trip, vacation, whatever's permitted. At this point, Tristan and I are on the hook waiting to see if Canada opens its border. We have a trip planned for next month. However, it doesn't seem as though it will happen. So we're talking about piecing together a road trip or something, just tutting around the U.S. and finding some wild spaces and checking some more boxes.
Where are you planning on going in Canada, G?
We fly into Calgary and we'll spend some time in Banff and drive north into Jasper, kind of repeat a trip that we did a few years ago that was one of the most memorable trips yet. And we're still fingers crossed that they open the border and everyone's too scared to travel, and then we'll have the place literally to ourselves and the wildlife. But who knows? We'll see.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to that. And Rhonda Patrick was on Joe Rogan's podcast yesterday, and she talks about the value of vitamin D in immune performance and how it relates to COVID infection, particularly mortality, from what she has researched. I thought that was really interesting. So it makes me itch to be outside again, really expose my skin, not be colored from. Yeah, I don't want barbell coloring. I want my melanin to be a little more colorful in my skin.
I think it's very interesting. I was listening to that this morning as she's talking about only 4% of the deaths had a sufficient amount of vitamin D, and then 96 had way deficits of vitamin D in her body. It talks about how it's a hormone that'll help your immune system. It's crazy.
And the dots she connected about mortality between specific types of folks, where they're from, based upon the amount of pigment in their skin and their vitamin D deficiency, and how lethal the COVID is to that their genetics, skin color. Really, it was interesting, really interesting. It explained a lot of stuff that people were bantying about, maybe recklessly, in my opinion. So that's not really any particular anything. I just wanted around. What are you looking forward to?
I was going to jump on the travel train as well. I'd like to go to a beach of some kind. It'd be cool to go to California, but I probably end up being like the Gulf side of Florida more than likely. But that, and then there's a couple of business deals I have going on that'll take me further down the road to financial freedom. So super excited about that. And I guess that's about it, really. Once I get those done, I mean, I'm sure there'll be another thing to go after, but that's what I'm excited about right now. I guess things, kind of like what you guys are saying, things opening back up, if you will. I'm sure we'll
go.
It's open back up. Let's go. But
there it is.
I was gonna say traveling somewhere with you guys. That'd be cool with me.
Yeah, we haven't made our annual trip to some educational / recreational / vocational enrichment. So I'm looking forward to that as well, for sure. We need to actually circle wagons to talk about that soon.
Maybe get lost in North Carolina.
Taryn?
Well, on a personal level, I guess just get back in the groove of, well, I wasn't going to mention it, but now that you did, Lauren and I have an addition to our family in the form of an automobile. I just got excited on that. No, that's not happening, but in an automobile. So that's some exciting technology and stuff coming. If you're in Bristol and have been in any of my classes, you probably know exactly.
You guys still there?
Yeah, G, your screen's frozen, but we hear you.
A beautiful smile, though. So that, if you want to add that, getting back in the groove of biking and into the parks more, definitely would like to return that. One that you just added to my list from a personal standpoint is listening to that podcast. I didn't know that he recently had her on, and she's excellent. So anything with Rhonda Patrick. And then lastly, I guess from a business standpoint more, or from a gym community standpoint, would be just continue to settle back into a good routine. So even though we've been back at it for 2 weeks now, it's still weird how out of whack a couple months worth of quarantine or minimal outside activity, how much it can throw you out of your routine. So just continue to settle back in, continuing to see members settle back in as well, and continue to grow things here, because there's definitely power in having a routine. They're back. Full technical difficulties, but they are back, and you'll probably see them. So we just kept riffing through the whole time. I've just been chatting.
Sorry.
Just returning people back to normal, and that in turn helps with productivity as a whole. I don't know how many people I've talked to that are still on the edge of returning to work or working some at-home variation that, You hear how hard it is for them to get in their groove of coming to the gym, of sleeping, of not eating bad food, of not drinking. So even though we're easing things back towards being able to get outside and come to the gym and come to restaurants at a small capacity, it's still a slow transition for a lot. So for myself personally, settling into the groove, for others and for the business, seeing people continue to ease back in and be as consistent as possible. They froze again. Nope, no, they didn't. You good? Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's mine.
They're playing like the statue game or something like.
What is that? What is the picture of the man holding the pitchfork and then the woman? That's
So those would be mine.
We missed the whole Tesla spiel. I can't wait to listen to this podcast.
That's right. Taryn actually has a body pillow that he S printed out on that he cuddles every night.
Yeah. And instead of actually, so I had Dan Marino on my ceiling as a kid with a big poster. It's Elon Musk now, 6 foot long on my ceiling.
That's right.
Posted up with tweets to Alameda County or however you say it, just telling him he's opening back up. But no, I haven't heard any new word on that. So it's still, that long waiting period that we had. So
Elon's a boss, man. He cracks me up. That's so much.
Definitely.
He's like, I'm going back to work. They're like, no, you can't. He's like, I'll be there Monday.
He definitely sticks his neck out, no doubt about that.
So what you're saying is, I'll be there Monday.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so a little rapid fire question off that. Vacation wise, mountains or beach? Taryn.
Mountains, not even a question.
Galen.
Mountains.
Stevie.
Probably beach, man.
I'm gonna have to agree with not Steve. I'm gonna go Galen. Yeah, I like mountains, man. I don't know. I would much rather hike new, get in some eye candy of new scenery compared to seeing a beach, which I think once you've seen like 2 or 3 different beaches, you've seen them all. That's just me and my ADHD and monotony.
Yeah.
I think there's something about a few things. One, like the purity of the way things feel, the air, the sounds, not being around a ton of people. Even if you are in a park, you can get away if you choose to do so. But also the reminder of that you're this big in this big world and in those big mountains. And I think
you're scared of heights, you really feel that.
I think there's some power to that, like a little natural reset. And beaches, I know I don't get that, and I don't like sand or salt water, so that doesn't help very much. So mountains, I didn't have to think very hard on that one.
I actually get that feeling at the beach, so it actually reverses for me because I think I see out and you can't see the end of it, and you think, well, the world's 70% water, right? Supposedly. So, I mean, flat earthers, we don't agree with that, but yeah, when I look out, I think, man, this thing never ends, and again, I'm that big.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for
and
sure.
everybody's entitled to their own opinion. If you don't agree with what I think,
you're just wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're wrong. All right. Well, I got to go. See you guys.
No.
All right. So if just a spin off of another quick question, something that popped into my head of what we've seen this week from a programming standpoint, assuming that you've done this one today. If you haven't, you kind of have a general idea. What's your favorite workout of the week so far?
Favorite workout of the week. So Monday we started off with back squats and rowing. Yeah. So Monday was heavy back squats and rowing. Tuesday was on the minute push-ups, offset push-ups with some other auxiliary movements. Those toe bells are tough, by the way. I love them.
Good.
Wednesday was the mini DTs, 3-minute AMRAPs of DT, and then yesterday was a little bit of recovery day, little windmills, waiter's carry, and bike. And today is Cindy sprints with some running, just to give everyone at home what we had for the week. I would probably say, I haven't done today, but I would lean toward today or the DT one.
Justin on the running, choosing the running.
Hey, if I get to break it up, man, as long as I'm not having to do it, like, I think the biking yesterday for 10 minutes is probably worse than today just because I have to sit there. It's just like I feel like a slug. It was like, that's just my personality. If you don't agree, you're wrong.
Mine today as well. Hands down today as well. Just that's right up my alley. You've heard us talk about what we prefer from an output standpoint, which kind of surprised me with you. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. I love Sandy. Sandy.
So gymnastics, bodyweight movements, and covering some distance on foot. I'll take it. Even though I do like the slowed down accessory and recovery type stuff. That stuff is really important. Really important.
How about the guy that made the workouts? How about he go real quick?
Heavy DT, say it. Lie to us.
It's like no one likes their own cooking, man. I don't know that any of them were my style. I guess the back squat day in rowing was straighter up my crooked alley. DT was great, but it was the most pain. I talked about pain in a couple episodes ago, and that was just right in the heart of that pain threshold for me. My forearms, my lungs, my brain hurt. I'm still sore. I told someone today I'm sore from my ears to my heels. I haven't done today yet either, but I think if I had to really, really say the one that gave me the most, it would probably be the DT, because I haven't dug that deep into the painful area in a while.
Look at this. Look at this. Robin just brought this in. Nice cup of coffee with 10X on it.
10X, yeah, I see it.
Thank you. Love it.
For me, it would be more than likely, I haven't done today's, but it'd be between Monday and today. I mean, anything back squat at all, I'm going to like, more than likely. Especially on a row where I don't have to – I mean, I dug a little hard in that, but not crazy hard. Now, if he said 500 meters per time, like
Different
all
story.
out, yeah, I don't want
Did anybody
that.
row first?
I did not, but some people, of course, did.
I always wanted to be extra sweaty before I squatted anything.
I wish I would have run
That was
first.
my intention, and I, against better judgment, did not ease into things as I should have, and made the squats a little bit more challenging. Tried to hit some repeats, not max effort, but definitely a little tougher outputs.
Yeah, and the heavy back squats for the first time in a month and a half left me sore to the femur bone. I mean, it's deep soreness, not like this superficial. It's like in your bits sore. I couldn't describe it any other way. And I went hiking yesterday, so yesterday probably my favorite day. But I felt my back squats yesterday, I can say.
Sure. Andrew's in the background, and like, yeah. He's got Patagonia glasses, Patagonia like Band-Aids. It's crazy.
Band-Aids.
Yeah, they're still on my feet.
Andrew,
big feet.
We're talking about. In case y'all don't know, Andrew is here. He is a local attorney and friend. They're out of where you work 2 days a week now in the office and out. So
His beard's Patagonia as well.
Hey guys,
you can buy those on
That's a
Patagonia.
beard.
That beard is fantastic.
That's who the emojis designed their beard after.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the model.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Jeez, what a beard. Man.
You want me as a lawyer? Yes, I do. Yes.
Do you see the wisdom on my face right now?
Yes.
And I want you to take me fishing.
Exactly. I was going to say, you should be my lawyer. You should go chop down a few trees.
He's like the world's most interesting man all day.
But, yeah, well, cool.
We got any questions to shoot our way from that side of town? Put you on the spot.
I was thinking of we were talking about Elon, and I was trying to think, do you guys have a favorite entrepreneur? I guess that was the question that kind of jumped in my mind. Is Elon your all's favorite entrepreneur? Or do you have there's plenty of good ones out there. You had Steve Jobs, not the best guy in the world, but
I'm gonna say the Lizard King, Zuckerberg. I'm kidding. Somebody says he's an alien and a lizard person. I would probably say Elon, real life. Probably Jim McLaughlin. Train him in his house. Probably that.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't follow that stuff enough to know. I don't dig in enough to really have a good grasp on big figures in the business world. So sure, Elon comes to mind. People talk a lot about Mark Cuban and those type guys. I don't know much about them, but so I can't really weigh in at all, honestly. Probably should follow that more, but no.
It's not really something to talk about. It's just we use their products and don't think twice about it. I mean, what we're on right now, Steve Jobs even got fired from that company, and it started tanking, and he came back and brought it right back up to the top. So, but again, not the best guy in the world. Actually, he's an asshole. But anyways.
Speaking of we're on their stuff, we're on a computer, we're using Microsoft. Did you know that Bill Gates is also, he does all the software stuff, plus he's a doctor, plus,
Sorry, I had to
I'm
laugh.
trying to make everyone mad. I'm trying to make the left and right mad today.
Yeah. That's another good entrepreneur right there. I mean, and the correlation of guys that drop out of college that become great entrepreneurs is interesting too. in my opinion. But
Yeah.
you got one?
Obviously, I'm a big fan of Elon. There's another guy I've followed for the last couple of years. He's Silicon Valley. Most of my guys are Silicon Valley good fellas. Naval Ravikant, have you guys heard of him? He actually just started a podcast. That's something I'm looking forward to. He just released episode 1 yesterday. He is a lot of what I would mold myself after in thought and in behavior. Really like him. I'm a big fan of Peter Thiel, conspiracy guy. As far as there's a book called Conspiracy written about what he did with Hulk Hogan and Gawker, and it's really just super interesting.
Is that the one Ryan Holiday wrote?
Yeah. He co-wrote it with Ryan Holiday.
Yeah.
Or I guess Ryan Holiday wrote it about him, and he used him as a reference. I'm a big Warren Buffett fan. I think his principles, find people that match your principles, not the reverse, is a really important way to approach business. You get John Escola.
John Escola, yeah. That's a great one.
Yeah, I'm putting John Escola and Warren Buffett in the same league.
Nice. Way to go, John.
For the record, yeah.
If you look at short-term growth percentage, I'd say that would be ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Geometrical growth for sure.
So if you need
That's a
roofing,
good question.
Escola Roofing.
I say Elon's a business guy, but I say he is the Da Vinci of our era. He is the Leonardo da Vinci of our era. He's just thinking his time scales are so far detached from what most of us are able to even compute, much less comprehend. You can see him just kind of working through thoughts before he speaks in mostly plain language, and maybe I'm holding him on this pedestal that he doesn't deserve. But
Speaking of, they finished the boring tunnels yesterday.
yeah,
That's so interesting, man. That's so.
Is that in LA or where's that at?
That's from LA to Vegas. So they dug a hole from LA to Vegas for high-speed rail that you can basically park your car on and go from LA to Vegas. That's it, right? Is that it, G?
yeah, it's a vacuum essentially. So they pull all the air out, so there's little to no friction, and it's like a shot in a gun. It's ridiculous. I think it's all over LA, and I think the idea is to connect San Francisco to LA too, if I'm not mistaken.
Can you imagine a Tesla or a battery operated with torque with no vacuum in that thing? Because the original ones I watched, the original videos had a Model X in one of the tunnels, and it was with the reporter, and they were shooting, and she was in there like pinned to the sides, and he's like, oh, this is only 50. We plan to do like, whatever he said the miles per hour was, some astronomical number that we would never drive on the road. They're in this tunnel. You could basically touch the sides with the outside of the car and just ripping through there.
It's like the bullet trains. Where is the bullet train? Is it in Europe? Is that where the bullet trains are? Or is that
I think they're in Japan.
Yeah, I think
they're in
they're
Japan.
yeah.
Japan? So it'll be like a bullet train, so you just drive your car into it and then take off, which is.
I think there are also some in China.
China?
I think so. Yeah.
Moving on.
Thank you. Well, I gotta go. See ya.
Hey, here's a rapid fire question.
Go for it.
What was the first social media network you signed up for? Twitter.
Twitter? Wow, G.
Nice. MySpace.
MySpace.
MySpace for sure.
Still never had a Twitter. Never.
By the way, RIP to Tom, wherever he's at.
Dude, RIP to him. He making that bank, man.
Yeah, did you hear what?
Yeah, like
Rich in perpetuity is what you mean.
yeah, he paid like $1 billion, sold it, and then that person turned around and sold it for $400 million. That person turned around and sold it for $40 million. Jeez, crazy.
No, if you're that guy from 400 to 40, you're like
Bad decision, man. That's a bad investment. Come on, no better than that.
Out with Tom and in with TikTok. What you think about the revolution of this one?
That's true. I haven't TikTok.
Isn't TikTok just an evolved version of Vine?
I completely
Seems
agree.
like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't TikTok owned by China? Look it up. No shit, I'm pretty sure.
I think they're
I have no clue.
Is TikTok? Can we make the leap to say that TikTok is just essentially you making your own GIFs?
I think so.
Probably, yeah, I would say that. Yeah, human GIF.
Maybe not. I mean, it's like a GIF meme in real time.
Yeah.
What does GIF stand for? Anybody know?
Ask the law guy.
That's my phone, but
Ask Andrew.
No, I have no clue.
no, I don't know what GIF stands for.
A lossless format for image files that supports both animated and static graphics. No clue. That's didn't help at all. Graphic interchange format.
Boom.
I just died upstairs.
graphic interchange format. Not nearly as sexy as I was hoping it to be.
Rapid fire question. I don't have an answer, so I'm maybe recusing myself. What is your most proudest physical accomplishment? What accomplishment are you most proud of? God, use better grammar, Galen. What is the accomplishment of which you are most proud of? Proudest? Not that word.
Mine, I would probably be snatched at the American Open. Probably snatching 330 at the American Open and Nanos.
In the spotlight.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Or maybe even that same competition, the lift before that. And G's like, you got 30 seconds. Jay, you have to go. You have to go. You have to go. And I had like
5 seconds on the clock. He hits the stage.
and I think I was
Bust one. Wow. I don't know. The one that obviously I could probably reflect back and think about something on the baseball field through school. I don't know, though. None popped directly into my mind. But one that's sticking in my head for some reason is that there was a weird feeling after running that half of like a kind of accomplishment of completing it, because I put this idea of an untrained half in my head. Thanks, David Goggins, for sabotaging me with those themes, or maybe granting.
Yeah, you're only at 40%, bro.
Yeah. So I set my mind to that. Untrained half, pretty well stayed true to it. I did like a pacing 4-mile day, and outside of that, and outside of what we do in here, didn't do any type of prep for it. So ran that. I pretty well thought that I had in my mind that I could do it, but there were some weird breaking points like halfway through. As most people said, the excitement of the day, you'll go out a little hot, and you don't do that. And just as they said not to do, I went out a little hot because I felt real good and hit a hard wall around like the 8-9 mile mark. And that was a weird like grind. I haven't been in that kind of slow headspace in a long time. So crossing that line hard and seeing that I hung in there for the time that I wanted, and Lauren was there, and it was it. There was nothing to it. It was a local half marathon. It wasn't a big race. It was just some type of weird, overwhelming accomplishment. I kind of got emotional. I don't know. So that one just is an odd one that sticks in my head for a long time, and it's good to reference back to it. Never will I do it again. I say that. Maybe a trail, or maybe if I was coaxed into it a little bit by someone, but all it was is a check a box, but it was pretty neat to finish that way and hurt like that and still feel that flood of endorphins and emotions. And I had to use the bathroom really bad.
That's it's a lot of adversity and suffering come over. It's a long time too. That's a long time of suffering. Just be like, hey, I'm just gonna go out here and suffer for an hour.
For nothing. Hour, like 140, I don't know, low 140s.
Galen and I beat you.
And the weirdest thing too is like it was all for just to prove something to myself, I guess. And
that's great, man.
That's all I did. But I guess that would be mine for now.
We didn't beat him. We were an hour behind him. Just like
I have a few, but a few have cropped up. You want me to lead or you?
I'll give you a little more time. I'll go. All right. So for me, a few things pop in my head. I think about certain lifts that I did, like 500-pound back squat, and there was a couple of them that I didn't get to that I wanted to. I wanted the 400-pound overhead squat. I wanted a 400-pound jerk, bench press. I wanted the 600-pound deadlift. So I can't hang my hat on too many things, only that one, I guess. But going to regionals, that was cool. 2014, especially going as a team. I think going as an individual would suck. It'd be lonely. I mean, you could take all the blame, which is, I guess, good. You could take all the credit and the blame. But at the same time, it wouldn't be as fun. So that was a cool moment in my life.
Yeah. So as you guys are talking, I'm thinking, boy, I was present for Justin's. I was here for yours. I was with Taryn in spirit. I remember the day he did it. These moments kind of stand out to me like they're just captured in a snow globe, and you can go back and revisit and shake them up because they left you with this guttural, visceral, like something special is happening right now. Off the top of my head, regionals. When we went to regionals, I didn't even participate. I was just there to coach. And
you're on the open team, though. You got some scores.
Well, I mean, it was just one of those times. It was like something is tugging at the strings of my soul, so you need to remember how this feels. Watching Justin at his very first American Open at like 11 p.m. in Dallas in the middle of the most freaky of ice storms with Randy with us. It was just, again, snow globe moment. I'd probably be remiss to say a 36-mile hike that had no intention turning into 36 miles. Steve was with me during that one.
Steve's like nightmares about that one.
Yeah, so
36 miles.
36 miles
to rack their brain.
Under 24 hours. It wasn't wise, and
how many hours?
21 hours. But here's the thing: we had covered 30 of those miles in 14 hours. So the last bit was literal wagon trail. You might die of dysentery. You might be bitten by a snake. We were wandering along at the speed of snail along this really steep rocky trail at 2 a.m. And I had something else Bob Vick, one of our members, Bob Vick, always says, and this was kind of on repeat in my head. What is it?
I think I know what you're doing.
Yeah, if you're gonna be dumb, you better be tough.
Yeah. It's such a obviously like a rudimentary wording, if you will, but it's totally true.
It lives in me. Thanks, Bob, for that.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you mentioned that, I think I'm gonna hang my hat on that one. That freaking sucked, and I have never been so welcoming of a bear attack in my entire life. I was like, please, just go ahead, take me out right now. I don't care.
So the backstory to that is another member, Garth, had this idea of summiting 7 peaks that were over 6,000 feet in the Smokies. And most people do 1 or 2 in a single day. We decided to do all 7, and it involved a lot of what's called bushwhacking.
Yes.
You're on a trail, but you hike off trail, and you search for the marker, the geographic marker, and kind of take a picture. And it's the most materialistic way to say, well, I've hit this peak. We all agreed. We left well before dawn. I think we were on the trail at like 4:55, and we walked off of the trail at around, 21 hours later would be around 2 something.
Yeah, like 2 in the morning the next morning.
So physical accomplishment, that was pretty good. Jay and I ran a half marathon and limped through it. My literal battery died on my iPad, like 1 mile in. So I got to hear Jonathan's breathing.
In case y'all don't know, when I run, every time my right foot hits the ground, I wheeze. I exhale wheeze. So it's like, so G's iPod, now it's a mile in, and we had 12 left, and all is every time. So I felt so bad for him.
That might have been the only thing that got me through it. Was listening to Steve. I'll let you guess what I was listening to the entire time, but
I know, bro.
It saved my life. I can't imagine.
Isn't that trap?
Circling back to mine too. I didn't know anyone in the race. I was the only one. Like I said, Lauren showed up after she got ready. She ended up having to work that day. But so gun sounds, headphones in, everyone's taking off a little too fast as you would expect, as I mentioned. Ended up linking up at the hip with a guy I don't know from Adam. We both had headphones in. We both were carrying the same pace pretty much. Mile goes in. We're still there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That we're all still there, step for step. He'd pull, I'd pull, just So it got to be where we were working together. And around that mile mark, when things were really starting to hit the fan, he pulls off at an aid station, hits a cup of water, Gatorade or something, as do I, which I was at all of them. And I kind of veer to keep going, just a grab, hit, keep going type thing. And I'm running 15 steps in, realize he's not there, look back, and he's still back at the aid station. I kind of try to wave him on, come on, man, as we both had headphones. And he's like, nope, go on. And I was like, oh, no, I'm in here alone now. So those final,
even worse,
most trying moments were by myself, pretty much. Obviously you come close to someone or pass them or something, or they pass you, which was mostly the case because at that point I'd hit a hard ball. But one of the weirdest things too was anyone that's done a half, you guys probably know they have pacers that carry little flags, and they'll keep you on pace to what, I guess for people that don't have watches, or to be a finish time, like an 8-minute pace type deal. And I was a mile and a half or maybe 2 out, and I got passed by the 8-minute pace group, which would have been under what I wanted. If I would be with them, it'd be over what I wanted if they passed me. So I had to link up on them. And that was the biggest battle I think I've ever had with my own head of like, stay with them. And then my body would be like, absolutely not. You're doing fine. Let them go. It doesn't matter. And it was like, stay with them. And we kept hitting these hills, and they'd stay the pace. And I would fade off a bit and then have to go catch them. And maybe that was kind of the part that weighed so heavy on me at the finish line. It was my ability to like just dig in and just embrace how bad that sucked and stay with them, and then ended up finishing the tick before them. But that was
the mental fortitude to be able to do that is like I can't imagine myself doing that. As far as like, because it's something that I despise so much, and to hear you talk yourself through that, like you like running, you're really good at running, and it's like it's still miserable for you, and you be able to push through is kudos to you. I'm just like, oh man.
But it's so weird too, because moments like that stick in my brain as ability to be able to keep pushing through the miserable moments. But many DT rounds yesterday after the first one, I could have crawled in a hole and died. Like literally, that's how, how different we are. There was something, so I would rather, I hesitate to say I'd rather run a half again than do that workout. That's a little extreme, but it was a similar headspace that I was in like round 2 of that workout, even after dropping some weight, as like maybe a few of those moments of that race. It's just so weird how much different body types are and how things impact your brain and how much you don't want to keep going. But
it just, I think going back, talking about coaching stuff, Marty and I did a competition in Johnson City one time and talked about suffering. Oh, it hurt so bad. We were in first place. So if you get one,
I forgot.
if you get first in the workout, you get 1 point. If you get second in the workout, you get 2 points. If you get third, you get 3, and so forth. And the way it's supposed to work out is if you do that, the lowest score wins. So if you get first in all of them and there's 4 events, you'll have 4 points, you win. So we were first after 3 events. We had 4 points. 4 points. One was like a power clean workout ladder. Another was a sprint. Another was a run. I think it might have been something else. I can't remember. But we were in first place. We had 4 points or 5 points. The next team had like 12 or 13. We get to the championship workout and they scratch it to 0. Like those workouts didn't matter. So we get the championship workout, and it was partner Helen. So Helen's wanted me to run 21 swings and 12 pull-ups. But it turned into a 400-meter run plate carry with a 45-pound plate. One person has to carry it. 21 swings with the 70, and 12 muscle-ups. So if you know Marty can, yes, that's a workout for him. If you know me, no, that's not a workout for me. And we grinded through and ended up getting third in that workout, which I thought was decent for having me on the team and hating running. And we also got penalized for some burpees because this lady said that Marty was trying to cut the corner. We weren't even to the corner. So Marty started yelling at her and cussing her. And I had to tell him to chill out. I was like, Marty, chill out, chill out, chill out. So I just remember running back, and there's this giant gate you had to, like, crawl up and jump in. I just chucked the 45 as hard as I could, and I was angry. We were very angry. I'll post a picture right here of Marty's face and his disappointment. But that's another. And also, I think the Knoxville competition, talking about going back, the one that we, me, Bobby, Trista, and was it Tegan that we did?
I think so.
Yeah, we won that one. That's one of my little highlights too. That was so fun. Proudest coaching moment.
Honestly, coaching. Probably hate the runs for sure. Also, the first day we both snatched 100 kilos and we thought we were kings of the world. Because 100 kilo snatch meant you can write a letter and you can send a post message. You have arrived. We have arrived here on top of Mount Olympic weightlifting. And Jay and I, how many attempts did it take? 30?
I'm pretty sure we did a 100-kilo muscle snatch. Because it was just like we didn't know how to do anything.
And we celebrated so hard that Justin pulled his hamstring trying to water ski the same day.
We did the snatches in DT afterwards that morning. Oh, God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And some water.
And for the record, Justin did DT in what was like 5 and some change.
I think it was pretty fast back then.
Right behind Jason Khalifa, if it's any sort of reference.
And
That's a hell of a reference.
in this moment, highlight what actual DT is, so people that just did mini DT can remember that.
So DT is 5 rounds, right, Jay?
Yeah.
12 deadlifts, 9 hang power clean, 6 push press, straight through, no rest, 5 rounds straight through with, gas pedal all the way to the floor.
70 kilos.
And 155 pounds.
Yeah.
Justin did it in 5 and some change. I want you guys to wrap your mind around that.
Dude, we used to try, we don't compete much anymore. God, we trained hard. We have a lot of hours of training. Even when we opened, we would train, let's try this workout. Let's try. It was just basically like Rich Froney, not as good looking or as fit as him, but it was just
Rainey, if you're watching this, sorry.
Yeah. But we would train a lot. We had a lot of hours. And Gail and I, honestly, we trained hard before we opened the gym too. We would program for each other. and do workouts at the Globo gym and just crush ourselves. Absolutely crush ourselves.
You remember the name of our blog?
No.
Half-wits and full sleeves.
That's good.
Love it.
I've got two questions if you guys are game.
Well, let me
First question.
Let me hit
Go ahead.
to run that question around. The proudest.
Yeah,
coaching
yeah,
moment.
coaching.
I'm still fairly what I feel to be fairly new and learning and watching people grow in the coaching game a couple years in. But I think no specific circumstance or accomplishment for an individual comes to mind. But anytime I can see like the trade-off from like the quantity idea or moving super fast to the quality theme and watching it click for people and start to kind of embrace that idea is probably mine. So it's a collective bit. I've seen a lot of them, and it happens all the time as people grow in their fitness and things, but that would probably be mine. Just any type of changing gears into that theme.
Yeah. Mine probably I didn't get to coach Hater Runs. My grandfather passed away that year, so I didn't get to go to the competition. But just being a part of that team was something special. And even the team the next year when we were even better, but they cut the numbers down, so we didn't get to go. But that was really cool. And then there's a guy walking through here right now. Bill got 500 pounds or 530 on his deadlifts at the competition. That was pretty cool. Bill's back here. He's 61 years young right now. 555, my bad. He just corrected me. 555. And then
he gave him the stank eye too.
Yeah. Also, I would have to throw out Shanna as well. Shanna got second to nation in weightlifting in her age and weight class. She lost to a girl by I think 2 kilo who had won the national championship the previous 4 years. So Shanna pressed out her jerk. So in weightlifting, you got to catch locked out. She caught here and then pressed out, which is a no rep in weightlifting. And if she would have hit that, she would have beat this girl who's a 4-time national champion. But that was one of my most memorable. And I remember us ordering, I think, $60 worth of Arby's and driving back from Savannah, Georgia to get home at 4 o'clock in the morning and then have a competition the next day at 7 a.m. Wow, it was terrible. It was the Outlier Challenge Day. Or the Outlier Outlier Open.
Outlier Open.
Yeah, that was the next. Yeah. So we drove to Savannah on a Wednesday, stayed till Friday night, and then 4 a.m. that morning got back because we had to drive straight through the night because Shanna had to take a drug test because she was second. They'd never seen her before. So it took her like 2 hours to pee. And then between getting food and driving back, oh, man, it was so bad. I was running on 3 hours of sleep and bulletproof coffee. That's
I think it's at Wall Creek. I want to give a shout out to JoJo too. When he made his very first university nationals, JoJo, maybe he'll listen, maybe he won't. We thought someone was at the door. Came to us as literal child. No real health habits at the time. I don't want to give away his life story, but we were really happy to welcome him with open arms and things. And to see him evolve and grow into the coach that he grew into the weightlifter that he grew into, and now obviously the man and married man that he is, and he's coaching elsewhere, following the academic route on top of all that. That was Justin couldn't come that time either for some reason. We were in Albuquerque. Steve was with us to watch him, and Tim Jemison. Was there anyone else with us that trip?
No, I think it was just us.
Yeah, that was pretty special. And then Steve also in the warm-up calls asked to warm up with an Olympic, a famous Olympian and he did back squats with Sarah Robles.
Wow.
Or was it?
It was Holly Mangold.
Holly Mangold.
Yes.
Gold medalist. And he's just like, is it okay if I squat with you? Which was just so brave, of course, Steve, brave.
Did she out-squat you?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. She's like, here's 170 kilos. She did it for like 5. And I think I might have gotten 5, but it took everything in me. I was like, I can't let her beat me.
You're going to die on that platform to get your 5th one for sure, right?
That's it.
That's great.
And I was going to say, for me, proudest coaching moments, I don't know if I have one in particular, but I always thought it was cool to go to these competitions and talk strategy with your athletes, and talking them through something they didn't think they could do at the time, especially CrossFit competitions, and then seeing them do it. And then my favorite coaching as far as being here would be kind of like what Taryn was saying with someone, like when it clicks. I've always liked working with two particular people, two particular sets, and that's like the people that walk in, they're rare, they're like really fit, like a Bobby Lawrence. That's what they're just like cool to watch, in my opinion. And then I've always liked working with. I work with a man right now. He's 70 years old, and it's cool to see him at 70 years old getting after it. I think those are really cool situations, but that's just me. Yeah, shout out to JoJo, though. It's my son.
Yeah, and I should probably be remiss if I didn't mention Trista's success. My wife had hit an entirety of one muscle up prior to making regionals in 6 years of training, however many years she had trained one ring muscle up. At regionals, she hit 4 or 5 in one workout consecutively.
That's awesome.
So that was a really kind of warm, like Taryn says, when you see the pinhole picture open up for that person, that's what I live for, honestly.
That's I was going to say something very similar to that, G. Anytime you see guys are kind of used to doing upper body workouts only. So when they come in, if they've worked out before, some guys, depending on their health, will be able to do a pull up. But seeing a female who's never worked out in their life be able to do their first pull up, like that's just like my heart explodes. Like that's one of the coolest things that happens in the gym for me personally. But yeah. And then they do 40 after that, women.
Yeah.
Well, the next day they're doing 25, 30. It was like, what?
Yeah. It's like one little pinprick into the dam, and then the dam collapses.
Exactly.
Well, it's cool
I
to
always
hear.
think the differences between men and women are kind of funny too. Like the women are like, "No, I'm not going to try that. I don't think I can do it." And you have to kind of like push them a little forward into it. But the guys are like, "Yeah, I can do it," and you got to pull the reins back. It's just pretty funny to watch.
Well, it's cool to hear those ideas. So good question on that, because we got to expand upon it, and every one of those are revolved around in one way or the other impacting people's lives, and that's the business we're in, for the better, improving health, opening their eyes to their performance abilities, and watching them grow as a person, and as we call them sometimes athletes, if they aspire to be that. So I think that's a cool thing. I feel like that's why we're here, right? And to some degree or another, improve the lives of members, build the community that continues to make that happen and ripple out further into the greater community, we hope. So do you guys have any more questions to fire off before we sign off and call it an episode?
I had 2 more, but I don't know if we have the time.
Let's save them.
Yeah, let's
This
save
will be the hook that we sink to bring them back for the next episode.
Okay.
We'll save those for episode number 5. So for myself and Justin and Galen and Steve, episode number 4 comes to a close. Welcome back to the gym. It's exciting times. We, as mentioned, look forward to continuing to settle back into normal, continuing to grow, and as we just said, impact more and more people. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in for the last little bit, and we'll see you back soon with episode number 5 of Lightning in the Bottle.
Yeah. Per Rhonda Patrick, get your vitamin D, okay?
Yeah, go get some sun. See you guys.
I guess.
Thumbs up if I'm way better looking than Jay.
Yeah.
I'm going right here, bro. I'm going right here.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm just happy to see beard and mustache.
You guys like DT, or did you
Pardon? Oh, still not the same. I'm not the same person I was.
PTSD from a hero workout? That
And I
makes
dropped
sense.
from 135 to 115, still wanted to crawl in a hole and die.
Galen was talking about how sore he was. I told you guys I did 1 round, looked at the clock, and I said, fuck this. I just turned it off.
No kidding.
Shit. B-Bar and I did it. We got through that first 3 minutes. We were just like, B-Bar looks at me, he goes, "You sure this is 4 fucking rounds?" And I was like, yeah, this sucks.
Yeah, buddy.
What was your pace? One a minute?
I did almost 4 the first 3 minutes.
Damn.
And I crashed and burned. I got almost 12 rounds. I was dying. I was just like, I don't want to pick the bar up. I want to go home right now.
Same way.
Awful.
It gave me PTSD because I thought about the time that Galen and I did it with a heavy version, and we did 100 kilos. And this mother knew how to barbell cycle, and I didn't at all. And so the second was done in like 20 seconds, and it took me like 2 minutes around. So I would get done. I would only have 20 seconds of rest. He's like, all right, it's your turn again. Remember that time we did heavy DT and you just slaughtered me, kept slaughtering me? No.
I don't.
No,
we do it outside.
No, we did it right here, and
Please do it.
It would be done so fast with the round, and then
Hey, Andrew, will you cut that fan off, please? Yeah, on the back, just there's a little switch.
they do.
Try to minimize some of the noise.
This is him.
Got Andrew Dine here, law school professional.
Oh shit! It's gonna be Beard City up in here.
I only charge in 6-minute increments. It'll be fine.
I
$600.
miss you.
Hey man,
I miss you.
Buddy,
I miss you too.
look at that suit jacket. Fucking Miami Vice in here. Jesus.
I need to wipe my mouth off with this hanky. I'll put it back on later.
There, bro.
Those are
I want that guy's beard inside this little suit.
Don't forget to bring a towel, Mr. Hanky. No, Justin knows that reference.
Yes, I
Park?
love
Okay.
Mr. Hanky. He's my hero.
South
We
Park?
got more. Yeah, it's holy shit. Aaron's watching TV show.
I don't know if I've watched an episode of South Park, but I did get the reference. One of my friends in high school used to watch it, and they would make that same creepy little old man voice and do that too. So
If you get a chance, if you have Hulu, go watch the transgender episode and the China episode.
Easy, man.
Gold. No, it's gold. It's absolutely gold. Macho Man Randy Savage is a transgender and competes in like a women's decathlon. And it's like MMA fighting and stuff, and he's like crushing people's skulls. He's like, I don't want to talk about my transition. I just want to talk about who I'm here to fuck everyone up.
What's so funny, they probably were just playing off of that because that really happened.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
There was a guy that transitioned and was fighting girls.
And they made it even worse because it's like, I'm going to be transitioning for 2 weeks. And it's so funny, man. That's so funny.
Dude, did you ever see that movie they made called Basketball?
Yeah, with Train Matt Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love that movie.
It's funny.
It's so like one-liner. It reminds me of like Half Baked. If you ever seen Half Baked?
Yeah, there we go. Chappelle.
Yeah.
My favorite comedian by far.
Oh, well.
All right, I guess we better dive into this thing.
How long
do
we
wanna-
got?
What are our talking points? I sent that one last night that was requested.
I got that, and then I got anything you're looking forward to, whether it be books, movies, shows, workouts, life, vitamin D, sunlight, anything like that. It can be anything. Taryn's going to be talking, doing an intro, and thinking the whole time about that question.
I know I'm gonna screw it all up now.
All right, I'm ready when you guys are.
We have any-
Are you filming, Jay?
You have any like rapid fire question
I
things?
didn't
More like
put
little
this in
small trivial shit?
I'll think of something while Taryn's doing it and mess him up.
Okay. I like it already.